Hey guys, I got another nugget, if you will, of let's call it a nugget of download from my higher self that I've gotten many of, but this was a good one, and I thought I should put it down in history by passing it to someone else. How about that? Anyway, so that nugget, I would say, is a good place to start calling it a nugget. And what else did I want to say about it? I'm really comfortable with my past. Now I realize, how am I going to be comfortable with my future? There is no future. There's only nows, a million nows. Right now, everything is absolutely perfect. I'm just sitting here. Could I think of something to be wrong? Yes. But I don't have a foot on fire, so I don't have to get up. But even then would be like, oh, that was kind of perfect. I needed a burned foot for some reason. I'm going to find that out in just a minute. Let me get out of the truck. And you get out of the truck and you say, oh, my foot burned because the truck was getting ready to blow up. And that's what saved my life, the fact that my foot was burning. That's a great example. Anyway, that just kind of hit me. But it's so easy to find the perfection in what's coming your way if you're genuinely open to the belief, if you will, way of being, and you really can't even be open to it. You have to be deep in it. When you're really in the fact that you know everything that comes your way in life is for your good and your benefit, your growth, and everything that's ever happened is perfect. And where I was chewing today was I had a really deep sense of realizing that if I don't have absolute perfection, heaven on earth, right in my peripherals and everything I see and experience every day, it's only because I can't dream it. I can't create it. And it's not created by me getting out of this truck and going and doing something. It's created by me accepting what is, the power of accepting the moment. In this moment right now, absolutely everything is perfect. And I've owned that for I've known about it, I've played with it in my head for 35 years. But I've owned it more and more in the past few years because I've had time to really sort of focus on the Mindcraft, if you will. That's a good name too, Mindcraft. Ha! That might have to be Mindcraft Masters.com. And I'll teach you how to get to that point. I've almost got heaven on earth. Pretty perfect little world I live in. But it could definitely improve, and it's no problem to do it. The world can give me everything I want. The thing I need to do is master the knowledge and the livingness. That's a pretty deep word. The livingness of knowing that what's coming moment to moment to moment is perfect also. Like, I'm going to get out of this truck at some point in time and go be with some other friends and do other things. And every moment I know that this is perfect. You'd say, well, how can you be conscious of every moment that happens and appreciate it? Well, you had to have already done all your homework, and you have to be to the point where you can shut off your thinking mind. And definitely long before that is your fear and your doubt and all those kinds of things have gone away. My hand will go this way. Gone away. And then you'll own the peace of the moment. But anyway, but today wasn't about that process. It was about my sort of going forward. Okay, I only have to sort of follow whose direction if I'm going to go forward and create the perfection. Do I think about that perfection? Do I think about how great that world is? No. Thinking is what gets you into trouble, because thinking is like yesterday, kind of. As you're having the thought, it's already passed. It's like, I don't know, writing a book about how you want to be isn't going to make you be that. Talking about it isn't going to make you be that. Feeling it is how you become it immediately. Feeling it is, though, kind of like saying gratitude. being thankful. But that thankful is not words or books, it's a feeling. So when you can get to that feeling of feeling perfection as you go moment to moment through life, then everything gets super easy. And we do nothing but magic around us. So I have the path to get people out of that, or down that path, not even out of something. There's nothing reason to get out of where you are. It's seeing the perfection in where you are is the ticket, you know? You need to... Here's a good analogy for you. Let's say you're a frog in a pot of hot water. I've always played with that concept that, you know, you can turn up the heat on a pot with a frog in it and turn it up, it gets hotter, he'll die. And if you put him from the ground and throw him in a hot pot, he will jump right out because he knows it's bad, because it's such contrast to where he was. Like, ooh, that's not what I want to experience. So he changes very quickly. So the same thing happens with the next version of that, okay? Or the next level of that, is that if you're a frog in a hot pot, and you think, I need to jump out of here. Dan, I'm pretty sure it's pretty fucking tough where I am. I bit off a lot, and I'm trying to accomplish a lot, and I am, you know, a great, powerful soul. I'm sure of it, but I need to get out of where I am right now. And I would say it's not about getting out of the pot, because you're never going to jump out. You're going to jump right into another hot pot, okay? And everything you're doing now is just going to keep you on the same path you've been on. It doesn't matter if you write a book about it, your changes, or any of that type of stuff. It all depends on where you are in your heart. And seeing the perfection in the pot that you're in, and seeing the fact that you like the temperature, and you've brought it to the temperature for a reason, and it's all for your good at that point, and everything else you thought you wanted to change about your little environment, you know, is all to get you on this path of saying, I need to make this pot beautiful. If the job was to put a frog in a pot and say, make that pot beautiful, turn that little pot of water into a beautiful pond. I want grass around the edges. I want lily pads. I want 65 degrees, a little bit of sun on some parts, shade mostly. And I want this pond to be like heaven. I want it perfect. And I say, fine, I'm going to put you in this pot of water and go at it. Build it any way you want. Make it beautiful, though, so other creatures can enjoy it. Let some deer come and feed off of that pond, and the grasses get watered by your pond, and there's going to be water flowing in, and you're going to let the water flow out, and all those things you could envision about a beautiful pond. You've got to put yourself there, but how do you do it? You're in a hot pot of steel pan on a stove, and you're about to die. The thing is, it has to go within. You have to work on yourself. But it's not working on yourself. I definitely want to take that word and say that's not what we're going to use. Because it's not about working on yourself. It's about appreciating and accepting where you are and the nasty spot you found yourself in. Because you didn't find yourself in by accident. Remember the first lesson I was saying, when you own the fact that you chose to get in the environment you're in. All the difficulties you have, you took on. You said, I want to be born of a parent who does this to me. Won't that be terrible? And then I want to try to marry this person and see how that works out for me. And then I want to have kids with them. And then I want to be left with the kids, or the worse, the mental anguish of having abandoned them all. And I want to then go through life and then become an adult who's way underfunded. He doesn't have nearly enough money to be any sort of happiness. And surround myself by people who are like-minded to me, that are struggling and fighting, and I'm going to have a lot of drama with them all the time. That's what gets me up in the morning. And that's the little pot, that's the world that I want to create. And that's okay. I'm just asking, if you want to create a different pond, I can help you. But you have to want to do it. And it's mentally draining. It's difficult mentally. But it's every day is more beautiful than the day before. And it's not hard to do. It's like, oh my God, it's so exciting to just keep on trudging down the path of being happier and happier and loving yourself more and more. And there's no end to how deep it gets in seeing the perfection of what's going on around you. But now I can see perfection like that. In my life, it's past. I know everything's perfection. It's just I can see it in everybody else's. It's like, you're still in 110 degrees. You asked them to turn it up hot. You're going to come blowing out of that pot. When you build that pond, it's going to take you like a split second because you're going to wait till you're in a pressure cooker, not even a regular pot. The lid's locked down and the little steamer goes, and that's your, I'm getting ready to blow. So I see a lot of people in that situation, and I'm like, I'm here. I don't have to give out business cards. I'm not trying to beg somebody to want to get out of the hot water. They have to want to get out of the hot water. And when you want to get out of the hot water, you put your head up over the rim and you look around and say, who's not in hot water? Can you help me? That's me. I'm not in hot water. And I can help you create a beautiful pond. And get enough beautiful ponds around. What do we got? Heaven on earth. So you're right. Yes, I know that I can change the world if I choose to. If I want to do it, I want to go for it. This simple method that I'm talking about, I can enlighten 100 people a day. It's going to take some days to get them totally out, but some people could be weeks, some people could be a few months, but every day is better, so it doesn't really matter. And some people may say, not really that interested in getting out of, it's like, I'm no longer on the stove in an iron pot. I'm sitting in a plastic jug with a plastic plant in it, and I feel so much better. Fine. Have a seat. But just know you're just prolonging to getting to the point where your pond has a lily pad in the shade with vegetation and other bugs and all the eating you can desire. Every time you're like, I feel a little peckish for a fly. There, got it. Life is just so charming. And that's not hard to do. But you got to want to do it. You got to maybe sit a little bit and say, you know what? That vision of the pond, I kind of get that. And I think I could create that. And I realize that no one's going to go over and touch the stove and do any temperature I didn't ask them to do. And that I'm in this pot for a reason. And I chose the temperature and it's all perfect. I just want to move forward now and be the happiest, most productive version of myself I can be. I want to be the best pond builder that I've ever been in the other times I've tried being a pond builder, because we've all done this before, and we're just revisiting right where we left off with the pond the last time we lived here. But each time there might be a little flare, and like when you're born, this lifetime, maybe you chose the temperature a little bit hotter than you did last time. Or maybe this time you chose it a little bit easier. It's like, I'm almost born in a pond. It's pretty perfect right here. I could just sit here forever. And I'm like, solid, good for you, stay there. But I look at people who are really struggling and they're really in the hot pot with pressure cooker, and I say, phew, strong soul, jump in. You jumped in with 2 feet and you're all in, and I commend the power that you have to choose that lifing. So I look at that struggling, suffering soul and I say, whew, that's a beauty. That person's gonna really rock this world when they finally blow, because there's no choice but to eventually create a pond. So that pressure cooker is going to blow up, and it's going to blow into something. And, whenever that soul decides to get to the work of making the body in charge, slow down your thinking, slow down your speaking, slow down your writing, slow down your reading, slow down your watching, slow down your studying, and just be with yourself a little bit and slow down for a minute. And then when you don't have everything stimulus-wise banging you in the head, like television and whatever soap opera you're watching, whether it's sports soap opera, political soap opera, Save the Planet soap opera, Become a Better Person soap opera, Eat Better soap opera, or the, goes on and on and on. I could tell you a whole bunch more. They're all just soap operas. The real work is just inside yourself. You don't have to go anywhere and fix something to get inside. You just got to sit down for a minute and sit. And then what I'm suggesting is that I could help, but you could even do it on your own, is get some YouTube stuff that stretches you a little bit and pulls you a little bit to be a little bit more in the moment. I'm a little bit more grounded. I'm a little bit more accepting for just a breath. Whatever takes you there, stay with that. And forget about everybody's drama. You're not in a good, healthy energy. You're not going to go solve any of the world's problems. So what the hell are you doing looking at what they are? Yes, they're out there. Let me deal with them. It's not you with your energy of, I don't think I even have any control over my world around me. It just comes at me, and it's dangerous and evil, and it's been terrible. You can't tell me, Dan, that these people in my life who did this atrocity to me are because I wanted it. What are you, crazy? Of course, I would never get that response because I would have stopped talking long before somebody ever started into that conversation. I'd have picked up on their energy and just would have left the conversation sort of piddle off into, how about them O's? Or what'd you watch on TV last night? Or want another drink? Or, so it's not up to me where everybody goes. It's up to them and where the conversation is going, whether they're knocking at my door. I'm up here in the upstairs window throwing gifts out. Here's a cool analogy. I'm in the upstairs window throwing gifts out the window to passersby. Kids are playing in the yard, whatever. I'm throwing gifts out. And the cool thing is the magic of the universe. I throw out a gift and it's wrapped, but it's blank. I don't know what's in it. I just see you and say, oh, here's your perfect gift. And I throw it out the window. But I don't think about what that gift is. It wasn't always at that point, by the way. So if you ever got something from me before, it was the lower version of me. But these days, I only throw out perfect gifts for everybody who I ever see out my window. So saying that, in an analogy, of course, this isn't literal, I'm throwing these gifts out to people around me, and they become what that person wants. And so all I got to do is throw gifts out and then watch for a second and look to see, what did that become for you? What was your interpretation of what I just threw you? And a lot of times, I'm ready to throw this big gift out, and I'm like, wait a minute, nope, it comes with this too, and here's this too. And they've already nipped it off, taken a little bite like a scared coyote, and run off. And I'm like, I was going to give you a brand new bike, you just took the wheel and ran. All right, I'll put the rest of the bike back in the room. When he comes back around again, I'll offer the rest. He'll probably take it bite by bite, and hope I don't swat him. That's not how gifts come. That's how you work in your world. That's how you give gifts. That's how you see things. That's how you see. That's what your parents did to you. That's what everyone around you does to you. And I'm telling you, that's just in your world, in your reality, in your pond, in your pot. That's the way the things work. But I'm telling you, it's not the way it works. You've boxed yourself in this crock pot. So anyway, I can help you get out, but you gotta want to get out. When do I know if you want to get out? Is because you look at the gift and say, where'd that come from? And then I'm upstairs, right here, I got all you want. And you say, bang on, I deserve that. Because you'd be surprised how many people would say, even if they knew that the gift was there and that we had all you wanted, they would say, oh, well, I only deserve the bicycle wheel, not the whole bike, because I've never had a whole bike. And I'm like, okay, if that's where you are, I'm not going to tell you that there's something wrong with your thinking. It's just a matter of, do you believe that you as a soul, as a body, as a human on the planet, deserve that that quality of gift? I mean, wherever you draw the line is where you're drawing the line. And anyway, so that gets down another rabbit hole of why conceptually would you draw the line there. And we'll get into that. But I think that's time for another video. And I'm sure there will be one. But that point, getting back to me, because it's always about me, today there was a deep feeling sense of ownership in a deeper level of my living in the moment, following my gut at the moment, which says, my mind says, should I work more hours than I am? Should I go rescue some business? Should I go teach someone something about how to make more money? Or should I just go get my tool belt back on and try to earn a little bit extra money for security of what could possibly go wrong in my life? Or am I going to say, I don't have enough right now. I will never have enough. But I'm going to walk away from worrying about if there's enough. And what's that going to be like? What am I going to do as a person who no longer worries about, is that enough? I don't know. I mean, I'm not ready to go buy a new car or an investment property or something like that. Those are things I wouldn't mind doing. But they're not anywhere, they're not coming into banging into my head at all. So really, if I'm being honest with you, that took about a second to know that that's not the case. What is the case, though, is that I have a lot of choices of what I could do with my energy and my life. And so I just sit and wait till I really feel a strong sense of like, I really want to get up and help people and help other people out of this same, hot pressure cooker pot that I was put in. But I know from a childhood, I saw them as my own making, the struggles around me. So that's how I got out easier. But with guidance, I can bring anybody a few steps up, a lot of steps up, all the way up, wherever you want to go. I can take you that far, but it's just a matter of where do you want to go? How terrible has it been where you are? And we'll pull you out. Anyway, love you guys. Hope that wasn't too deep, but I hope it was deep. Because why would you want to waste, that was 21 minutes. You wouldn't want to waste that on talking about them O's. You want to talk about what's important. You're the most important thing in the whole universe. When you own that, you're getting somewhere. But you got to own that. That's not easy. Simple, but it's not easy. Anyway, love you guys. See ya.